Do you know have you heard of the Muppets? And they used to have like a little person singing. Do 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 do.
Pecha Kucha.
Do 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 do.
Pecha Kucha.
Do 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 do. Help them out.
Pecha Kucha is a Japanese word for chit-chat and is the name of a presentation format created in Japan in 2003 by Astrid Klein and Mark Dytham, two architects looking for a way people could share their work quickly and simply in public. Since then, the idea has spread to over 700 cities around the world. At every Pecha Kucha night, creative thinkers come together and share their ideas with only 20 images shown for 20 seconds each. Pecha Kucha, a fast, fun format. Find a location, join the conversation.
This fall, we will welcome the class of 2020 to our campuses. And then in just 4 short years, they will graduate into a new decade. And while they have grown up with social media, it doesn't mean they necessarily understand it. In elementary school, they could have gotten onto MySpace and AOL Instant Messenger. In middle school, they had access and started to be drawn to tools like Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and YouTube. And these are still very popular and used today. As they got into high school, they were drawn to the newer applications like Instagram, Snapchat, and group messaging like Kik. And I want you to come back with me in time and think about your middle school and high school days. And if that lived out there on social media. I think about my time in college at South Dakota State University. Go Jacks. You guys, I loved college. It's why I went into student affairs, and why I stayed was much different, but back then, I didn't have to worry if someone had a video or was posting something on social media, or if all my friends were on their phones. I want you to think about your time in college and if it lived out online. I also want you to think about your time in our field, considering the class of 2020 were born around 1997, and what tools you picked up over time that you used and explored. Because actually, if you look at the timeline, when we started to experiment and explore with social media tools, it was the same time as our current and future college students. And that actually brings us together, that it's not just current and future college students that things that they don't know, but we don't know things as a society and student affairs educators together. And there's 3 things that we haven't yet figured out about social media. And the first one is how to deal and resolve conflict online. My dissertation was on 40 college student leaders and their use and experience of social media. They talked about as early as middle school observing and being part of clashes on Facebook. And so they would pull away and feel silent and ill-prepared to have skills for that. And so it's no surprise to me to see future college students in high school being pulled to private messaging like Facebook Messenger, Snapchat, GroupMe, and Kik. And these are the applications they are coming with to our campuses this fall. But in student affairs, we're not getting it right either. The most popular student affairs Facebook page is called the Student Affairs Professional. It has over 21,000 members, and about every few weeks, professionals come into conflict and clash, and to be quite honest, it can be quite a hot mess. But here's the fact that we all mess up. That's the second thing that we don't know yet about social media, is how to learn from our mistakes through reflection to be better. I missed MySpace by 1 year when I was in college, and so I've been on tools ever since. And I have made mistakes. And so I use those mistakes as teaching tools with my students to say, I am human, this is what I wish I would have done differently, and this is the one post that I regret. It's a photo of me and my husband at an event, but I wish I would have probably wrote something different in the comments. I can share this post with my students and say what I learned and what I would do differently. And it lets us have a level playing conversation, because I am not perfect. Because when I ask my students, have you ever regretted something on social media? It's not only one regret, but it's multiple regrets over time if they got on as early as middle school. And so that leads me to the third thing that we don't yet know and haven't yet embraced as it regards to social media, and that's to figure out and teach digital mentorship and leadership. Because again, I'll ask my students, do you see yourself as a digital mentor? Or who would you see as a digital mentor, and how did you learn these tools? They give me a blank stare, and then sometimes celebrities will come out. And lately, it's been this prolific Snapchatter called DJ Khaled. He's sharing the keys to success through photos and videos through his Snapchat story as he is blessed up through motivational videos and photos. But I don't think we're giving ourselves enough credit in student affairs that we actually have a lot of the same skills as DJ Khaled. I would want to give credit to Tananson, who's the Dean of Students at Cal State Fullerton, who interacts authentically with Snapchat on her campus with her students and interacts with troubleshooting and listening on Yik Yak. I consider all these things that we know and that we don't know about social media when I created my class at Florida State called Leadership in the Digital Age. I use the social change model to be able to imagine and have reflective questions about things like, what does consciousness of self look like on social media, and are you being congruent with who you are face-to-face as well as online? And as a digital leadership educator, I want you to walk away and think about 3 things. The first one is that we and our students are going to continue to mess up on social media because tools will continue to change. And so when we do, I ask to think about more reflective questions so we can learn from the mistakes and not through a lens of judgment and shame. The second thing is to approach it with empathy. Again, if you had social media in college, would you have your job today? Because this is the requirement we are asking of our youth. The behavior they do today could restrict them from jobs in the future. Think about these things, and now let's shine more light on the amazing things our students are already doing with social media, and not just the bad. Wherever I go, I love to pull out pictures from graduation and to show them, the students, when I teach. And their eyes just light up as they imagine what their Instagram posts will be when they walk across that stage at graduation. You already have digital mentors and role models on your campus. You just need to let them know they are there. So we haven't figured out everything about social media, and we never will. Next year, there will be another application like Snapchat we have to figure out. But we can learn from our past to figure out what's currently issues at our present, to build leaders for the future and welcome the class of 2020 successfully this fall. Thank you so much, ACPA.